This is a giant hole in the moon, 65 m wide and 36 m deep. You could easily fit a 7-story building inside. And some people actually did, not literally, but this exact photo recently sparked a new wave of claims that there are alien hideouts on the moon in these very holes. And honestly, I dig it. Not the holes, the ideas of some mysterious things lurking on the moon. But if you dig really deep, as I'm used to on this channel, nothing is quite what it seems at first glance. So today, we're going to look at some really weird moon discoveries and conduct a reality check on each of the claims associated with them. So, let's go to the moon and back. In 2021, China's Yutu-2 rover snapped a picture of something weird on the far side of the moon. Sticking out of the dusty gray landscape was a jagged, upright shard of rock, and it looks kind of like the top end of a stellar sticking out of the ground. Some scientists even called it a milestone, and oh boy, did they not think through how it sounds. Right after the publication, the viral headline factory switched on at full speed. China found an alien artifact. Some even claimed it was a broken piece of a spaceship or a leftover structure from an ancient moon civilization because, obviously, a shard-shaped rock can't just be a shard-shaped rock, right? But what you're looking at here is literally just a lunar basalt splinter, a jagged chunk of cooled lava tossed there by a meteor impact possibly millions of years ago. You see, the moon doesn't have weather, water, or plant life, so when rocks break, erode, or shatter, they don't smooth out like they do on Earth. They stay sharp, raw, and creepy looking for eons. Basically, the entire moon is one big sharp junkyard, and that shard is perfectly normal in lunar geology. Astronauts in the Apollo missions literally tripped over rocks just like it. But the internet crowd isn't interested in natural debris. People want mystery. But if you were hoping this shard is proof of an alien battle or lunar Excalibur, I'm sorry, but it's just an ancient rock that happens to look dramatic in the right lighting. But let's get back to the literal opposite of a shard, a conspicuous moonhole I mentioned in the beginning. Actually, it's a photo from NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter taken in 2010, and there are plenty of similar ones from other missions. I've got to admit, it's properly weird to look at. Right there in the middle of the moon sea of tranquility, you know, the place where Armstrong and Aldrin casually went for a stroll, there's a hole, a clean, round vertical pit, like someone had punched through the surface with a giant space drill. And of course, the internet did what the internet does. The second this photo made the rounds, forums exploded. NASA's been hiding this since 1969. It's the entrance to a secret alien base. The Apollo astronauts were told never to speak about the moon holes. Some even claimed it was proof of an ancient moon civilization, because why wouldn't there be a lost underground society up there? Apparently, Armstrong and Aldrin forgot to mention the moon subway system on their way back. But when you cut through the noise and actually look at what scientists found, it's somehow even cooler and completely natural. That hole really is a collapsed roof of a massive underground tunnel. You see, billions of years ago, rivers of molten lava carved giant tubes beneath the moon's surface. When the lava drained out, it left behind hollow, empty caverns, and sometimes the roof of those caverns collapsed, creating these perfectly round pits. That's what NASA found. Not an alien hideout, but a lava tube skylight. But here's where it gets really interesting. These tunnels, the ones conspiracy theorists love to turn into secret bases, could actually help humans survive on the moon one day. Scientists think these lava tubes might be the perfect place to build future moon bases. The thick rock above would shield astronauts from radiation, meteorites, and the insane temperature swings on the lunar surface. Basically, nature already built us a cozy bunker up there. No digging required. So yeah, it's not a cover-up, it's not aliens, it's geology, and ironically, it might be the thing that lets us actually live on the moon one day. Now, if you thought moon holes and alien shards were wild, wait till you hear about the moon's cosmic crop circles, these strange, swirly bright patterns that look like someone took a giant paintbrush and doodled loops and spirals all over the place. They are called lunar swirls, and if you've never seen them before, they look completely unnatural, like graffiti from space. And you already know what happened. Cue the conspiracy sirens, forums, YouTube, TikTok lit up with the usual suspects. These are alien landing pads, coded symbols left by visitors from another galaxy, or my personal favorite, cosmic runes marking an interstellar highway. Because, of course, If you were an advanced alien civilization traveling light years across the universe, the first thing you do is leave swirly doodles all over the moon like a bored teenager tagging a wall. But here's what's actually going on. These lunar swirls are real. You can see them from space, and they do look super weird because the moon's surface is mostly dull gray and these patterns are bright, almost like someone airbrushed them on yesterday. But they weren't made by aliens. They were made by physics and time. The swirls line up suspiciously well with regions of localized magnetic fields on the moon, and that's weird because the moon doesn't have a global magnetic field like Earth, but certain spots, mostly around these swirls, still have residual magnetism. So what likely happened is this. Billions of years ago, an asteroid slammed into the moon. The heat and force from the impact partially melted the surface and rearranged the magnetic fields in that area. Over time, solar wind and micrometeorite impacts darken the moon's surface everywhere except in these magnetic zones. The magnetic fields actually protected the soil there from space weathering, leaving those spots brighter and untouched. In short, these swirls are ancient scars from violent impacts and weird magnetic leftovers. No alien runes, no landing instructions, just a cosmic accident that happens to look like the moon's been tagged by Banksy. And that's where you notice the pattern. At some point, these theories stopped being about the moon and started being about us. Maybe the real question isn't what's hiding on the moon, but why do we keep inventing things to hide there? One of the moon's flashiest mysteries, literally, for centuries, astronomers have reported strange random bursts of light flickering on the lunar surface. We're talking about transient lunar phenomena, or TLPs if you want to sound cool at a party. These aren't subtle. Hundreds of people, professional astronomers, backyard telescope nerds, even entire observatories, have logged reports of weird glowing spots, sudden flashes, or eerie colored glows on the moon. Some only lasted a few seconds, others minutes. And every time one of these light shows popped up, well, according to the internet, it's proof of alien mining operations, secret lunar bases turning their lights on, or the ever-popular signal flares from extraterrestrial visitors. Because naturally, if aliens wanted to keep their moon hideout secret, they'd announce it by literally flashing bright lights visible from Earth. But while believers were busy putting out crazy claims, scientists have been studying these flashes for real. And surprise, no aliens, no secret mining colonies. What's really causing these lunar fireworks is way less sci-fi and way more plain space physics. Most of the time, it's meteor impacts. Space rocks constantly smash into the moon. There's no atmosphere to burn them up like on Earth. So when even a pebble-sized rock hits, it slams into the surface at insane speeds and releases a burst of light. Some of the longer-lasting glows? Those are probably caused by gas releases. The moon's interior isn't completely dead. Now and then, pockets of gas trapped under the surface leak out through cracks, kicking up dust that reflects sunlight and creates those spooky glows. In other words, the moon isn't sending signals. It's just burping. And like every burp, we spent way too much time overanalyzing it and way too little time accepting it's just the moon doing its thing, no aliens required. Or on the contrary, maybe those moon aliens are so sneaky because we have no chance of seeing them. This is one of the most famous and popular conspiracy theories on the internet, the hollow moon theory. You probably heard it at least once. The moon is an artificial structure, a giant alien spaceship parked in orbit to spy on us. And where does this bonkers idea come from? Surprisingly, NASA. Here's how it started. During the Apollo missions, astronauts left behind seismic sensors on the moon. In one experiment, they deliberately crashed the Apollo 12 lunar module back onto the surface to see how the moon would react. And when they did, the sensors picked up something weird. The seismic wave from the impact reverberated for hours, literally hours. As one NASA scientist famously put it, the moon rang like a bell. And that one poetic line was all it took. The conspiracy train left the station and never looked back. Suddenly, everyone was convinced the moon was hollow, that it had a metal shell, that aliens carved it out and parked it in orbit like the worst Airbnb ever. But here's what the conspiracy crowd leaves out, the actual science. The reason the moon's seismic waves lasted so long wasn't because it's hollow. It's because the moon is dry, brittle, and cracked to hell. Unlike Earth, it doesn't have oceans or molten core to absorb shock waves and dampen vibrations. So when something hits the moon, the energy just keeps bouncing around like sound in an empty cathedral. Or imagine hitting completely dried out crusty sponge versus slapping a wet one you use to wash dishes. Earth is the latter, the moon is the former. That's it. Later Apollo missions ran similar tests, more seismic charges, more moonquakes, and every time the data showed the same thing. The moon has a solid crust, a mantle, and a small dense core. No hollow spaces, no secret hangars, no aliens hiding inside. The moon rang like a bell because it's dry and cracked, not because of the giant alien Bluetooth speaker. And just when you thought we were about done, the classics make a comeback. In early 2025, NASA dropped a brand new set of photos from the Blue Ghost of Firefly lander, high-def, razor-sharp images of a moon sunset, and they were gorgeous. These images showcase a stunning green glow along the lunar horizon as the sun dipped below. Now, you'd think such breathtaking visuals would be celebrated, but in the ever-twisting world of conspiracy theories, they became evidence for a different narrative. The argument: if sunsets on the moon look like this, why didn't NASA show us these green glows back in the 60s and 70s? Clearly, they are hiding something. Yeah, right. As it turns out, during the Apollo missions, astronauts did report a phenomenon called lunar horizon glow, a subtle glow along the lunar horizon during sunrise and sunset. However, capturing this glow with the technology of that era was challenging. The cameras used during Apollo were state-of-the-art for their time but lacked the sensitivity and resolution to capture such delicate lighting effects, especially given the harsh lighting conditions on the moon. Fast forward to 2025, and our imaging technology has leaped forward. High-definition cameras with advanced sensors can now capture the nuanced interplay of light and dust particles on the lunar surface, revealing phenomena that were once beyond our observational reach. The green glow isn't a new occurrence. It's just that we're now equipped to document it in all its glory. But amazingly, the better the photos get, the deeper the conspiracy rabbit hole goes. Every new fact, every new image, every new mission. Instead of debunking the moon hoax nonsense, just give the believers more fuel, because this logic isn't linear, it's circular. The Apollo photos were blurry? Fake. The new photos are sharp? Also fake. You could live stream the moon in 8K tomorrow and someone would still comment, "Nice CGI." The more evidence you throw at it, the stronger it becomes. Every official release, every scientific breakthrough isn't taken as proof. It's taken as part of the cover-up. We see this permanent distrust in science everywhere, but the moon is just the most convenient target of it. A belief that no matter how much data we have, no matter how clear the image is, the truth is always being hidden. So no matter how sharp the photo, no matter how many moon rocks we bring back, for some people, the moon will never be real. All right, let's end it on a lighter note, literally, because believe it or not, the oldest moon conspiracy of them all wasn't about cover-ups or extraterrestrials. Back in medieval Europe, before telescopes, before satellites, some people looked up at that glowing cratered surface and thought, that looks like Swiss cheese. Must be cheese. We know it since there's even an old English saying about it. To make one believe the moon is made of green cheese, meaning to exploit someone's credulity. Funny and all, but honestly, it's kinda wholesome. No aliens, no secret NASA documents or blurry photos circled in red, just good old-fashioned database cosmology. And here's the funny thing. In some ways, that theory makes way more sense than half the stuff we've talked about today. It didn't require government conspiracies or interstellar cover-ups. It didn't claim anyone was hiding the truth. It was just people looking at the moon and projecting what they knew, in this case, cheese, onto something they couldn't explain. And maybe that's the real pattern here. The moon is just sitting up there reflecting sunlight and every wild, wonderful, ridiculous theory we throw at it. Maybe that's the moon's real secret. Not what's under the surface, but what's inside our heads. So stay sharp as a lunar shard, bright as a green sunset, and don't forget to drop a comment about your most favorite and ridiculous moon claim.